My name's Aron Ralston. My parents are Donna and Larry Ralston of Englewood, Colorado. Whoever finds this, please make an attempt to get it to them. Be sure of it. I would appreciate it.
On the 26th of April 2003, 27-year-old Aron Ralston decides to go canyoning in Bluejohn Canyon, Utah. He was a very experienced canyoner and was familiar with the trail. Unfortunately, at one point he accidentally stepped on a loose boulder and fell into the canyon. This accident nearly costed him his life. However, being a quick thinker, he realized he had no choice but to amputate his arm in order to set himself free. A day before the incident, on the 25th of April, Ralston begins his journey at the Canyonlands National Park. On the day of his arrival, he explored the ravines. Some of the ravines were less than 1 meter wide and 30 meters deep. However, being an experienced outdoorsman, he didn't think this was too hard, so didn't notify his family or friends about the hike, which would later be a big mistake. He wanted to make the most out of the day and have an early start, so he slept in his parked car for the night, which was fairly close to the places he wanted to explore. On the day of the incident, he brought with him a 25-pound backpack to include climbing gear, first aid kit, multi-purpose tool, and 2 burritos with a gallon of water. 9:15 a.m. he began his hike and things were going smooth for him, but unfortunately not for much longer, because around 5 hours later at 2:45 p.m. he stepped on a loose boulder and fell into the canyon, which luckily was only a 2-foot drop. However, during the fall, his arm was crushed between an 800-pound boulder and the wall of the canyon. Ralston then tried to pull his arm out but couldn't, as it was tightly stuck. He was in the middle of nowhere and it was impossible to signal for help. No one knew where he was, so he was all on his own. Ralston tried to maneuver himself into a more comfortable position by placing his bag in front of him so he can lean against it. He was beginning to suffer from compartment syndrome. This happens when pressure rises in and around the muscles, causing decreased blood flow and oxygen from reaching nerves and muscles. Eventually, the compartmentalized tissue begins to die. There was a couple of ways to set himself free. A. To move the 800-pound boulder out of the way, which on its own, this possibility was near impossible. B. To amputate his arm. Ralston initially spent 15 hours trying to chip away the boulder. However, this was not successful enough to set his arm free. He then tried to wrap the rope around the 800-pound boulder, and with the strength from his one arm, he tried to lift it up. However, this came with no success. Time was starting to pass, and with limited food and drink, he then decided to urinate into his empty bottle, saving it for later. Although he was not a religious person, he began praying to God for help. He soon came to a realization that cutting off the boulder wouldn't work, and in order to survive, he would need to cut his arm off instead. After sleeping on this thought, he decided to go ahead with it. Using his pocket knife, he tried to cut through his skin, but this was very difficult with the blunt knife he was using.
It's gonna be a really long time before anybody gets to me. Jesus. I tried cutting my arm off. I couldn't even barely break the skin with this stupid knife. I tried a couple different blades, and all I did was just mark myself up. I could barely even get any blood to draw.
Another night passed and he realized cutting his arm in a sawing motion wouldn't work, so he stabbed it instead, but then noticed his bones were too hard to cut through. On Wednesday, his health deteriorated and he began hallucinating. He recorded a goodbye message on his camcorder to his friends and family as he felt death was soon approaching.
Whoever finds this, please make an attempt to get it to them. Be sure of it. I would appreciate it.
The next day, on Thursday, he had no food or water left, so at this point he was very dehydrated, and he drank his own urine which he saved from Tuesday.
My body's having difficulty controlling its temperature. I'm in deep stuff. It's pretty much suicide. It's 4 hours from here to my vehicle. climbing would probably be impossible with one hand. The blood loss and my dehydration, I think, are ruling that out. I think I would die if I cut my arm. I don't know what it is about me that's brought me to this, but I go out looking for adventure and risk so I can feel alive. Tell someone where I'm going. It's just dumb. I can't stop thinking about how good grapefruit juice, or margarita, or an OJ, or a popsicle. All these great things that I would love to have. An orange. Oh, the tangerine. I can't think about that stuff. God, I'm really screwed. I'm going to shrivel up right here over the course of the next few days. God damn. It's really sinking in how dumb this is. So many things about it. So many things.
A new idea came to mind, and he thought after cutting his skin, he could break the bones himself without the need to use a blunt knife for it. After taking about an hour to amputate his arm and place a bandage around it, he fell to the floor and felt relieved with freedom.
And I started yanking my hand, my arm, and I was giving it everything that I had, and was twisting myself around and trying to slide my arm up and down like this. It came to me, this epiphany, that I could break the bones, because my arm was caught so tightly that I could torque myself. And so I slammed my body against the opposite wall. I grabbed the backside of the boulder and even got my feet up to where I was standing halfway up the wall and grabbing the backside of the rock and humping my body over it until finally that bottom bone snapped. And this pow sound went kind of echoing through the canyon.
He then used all his strength to climb out of the canyon with one hand. Aron Ralston managed to climb down a 65-foot cliff and started heading towards his car. After walking for about 6 miles, he saw a family and told them what had happened. The family then kindly offered him some water and alerted the authorities. 4 hours after the amputation, Ralston was airlifted to the hospital and stabilized, before being flown to St. Mary's Hospital in Colorado for surgery. Luckily, Ralston survived. If he had not received medical attention in time, he would have died from blood loss. He lost about 40 pounds to include 25% of his blood volume. Ralston was fitted with a prosthetic arm, and it took him around 6 months to recover, after which he was able to return to outdoor activities and enjoy life. He is now a mechanical engineer and a motivational speaker. He's written an autobiography titled Between a Rock and a Hard Place. His book was a bestseller, and as a result, it has been made into a film called 127 Hours. If you were in a situation like this, what would you do? Amputate a body part or die? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please do give us a like and share our videos to people who may find our content interesting. You can also support our channel by buying us a cup of coffee, which I'll link in the description down below. It would help us out a lot and greatly appreciated. Stay alert and stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.